Case, Timo, thank you for joining me this morning, and congratulations to you and your team for being finalists for the CEO Awards. Welcome. With each project, I'd like to start out with a very simple question. What is your project about?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us, Jeff. Our project was about doing cleaning activities and maintenance activities in a different way. We have a very big piece of equipment, an asset with a fragile glass lining in it, which fouls during the production process. And the fouling needs to be taken out as it will influence our production. And in the past, we used to do that by dismantling the column, taking it out with a very big crane, doing all sorts of activities that might damage the fragile glass lining, have high exposure to hazardous chemicals, all manual activities that you should not want to do. So also very expensive, also something as a company that you would like to minimize, of course. And therefore a reason to look into some innovation. How can we do this differently and integrate a concept on cleaning and maintenance activities to reduce costs, be a more safer workplace, therefore be better at your work and innovate and do it all better.
Yeah, great. I mean, it sounds like it solved a lot of problems all at the same time. So, with each project, I'll come back to some of maybe the technical elements of this, but projects, they have a vision, they have a plan, but every project, no matter how well planned it is, always has some road bumps, has some challenges. What were some of those road bumps and challenges for the project, and how did you and your team overcome those?
I think the biggest roadblock we faced was what we do today works. So why should we change? And I think, as Timo shared already, it's the big exposure to chemicals, the large movements, but also the risk of breaking the glass lining in these columns that we want to optimize in terms of cleaning. And it was one idea from one person in our team said we can do this differently. And then it was all about, can we engage the right people to do it differently and to basically make the change? And we did. And we did successfully. And not the first time, but over a number of exercises, we brought it to an exercise normally taking 30 plus days in a turnaround to 2 days.
Wow. So, Case, if I can just build on that just a little bit. So, you said the biggest challenge was, but it already works. But what you're doing already, okay, it works. This is how we've done it for not only years, but maybe decades. And yet you said one person had an idea and you built on that idea. So how did you go from taking one person's idea and successfully overcoming not just years, but maybe decades but this is the way that we've always done it? How did you make that happen?
It's about believing in the idea. So I was confronted, or I got a phone call from the guy standing in front of that column, and he called me and said, Case, we can do this smarter. And we should step away from what we have done before. I took that to the steering team of the turnaround, and I said, hey, there's a brilliant idea. I think we should give this a try. There was some resistance, but the question was always, what is the risk? I said, the risk is small. If it fails, we continue as we always have done. But let's give this a try. Let's spend 15,000 euros on this tool that we thought of and give it a go. And the rest is history.
And if I may add to that, it was basically a way of thinking and a concept which we had to introduce in our organization as well. Like we mentioned earlier here at Huntsman, is we integrated a dishwasher concept. Everybody has a little bit of a feel with that. They understand it as they face it in their daily life, how it helps you. And you just put your stuff inside the dishwasher, take it out, everything's clean. same concept was introduced for us for this cleaning methodology that we incorporated, and it's also, let's say, a metaphor that we use to convince people and give them some understanding on how it works and what we would actually are trying to do. And of course, risks have to be mitigated, and fortunately people like Kees are excellently able to convince the people to do that. Everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses, and fortunately Kees is very strong in convincing people. So
thank you very much, Timo. And it's fair, in all honesty, I started my career in manufacturing of detergents, so I always have a trigger when people come with smarter cleaning ideas. I think there should be something in there, and that also brought the metaphor of the let's say the contained cleaning, keep the dirt inside instead of taking it apart and expose people to the chemicals that are there to be removed. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is a very power of analogy, of something that people can relate to and say, oh yeah, right, that's something I can think about and put my mind around.
That's totally correct. And once you see some results, people get even more understanding. Then you have your whole team and the rest of the people working around it, incorporating, and everybody gets excited and even bring in more ideas where you keep your improvements going. And therefore we, over the last few years, we developed the concept for this piece of equipment even more, made it better, less exposure, working more efficient, and more to come.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier some of the benefits that came from this project, but was there one benefit that you didn't either expect to get, or you didn't expect it to be as impactful as it was when you started the project? Because you listed a few, financial costs, improved safety, less exposure to chemicals that are hazardous. But of all those benefits, what was there one where you said, well, we thought this might be a benefit, but when we actually did the project, wow, it was even more than we thought. Is there any benefit that comes to mind?
Oh, absolutely. For me, the biggest one is that we now can potentially clean, or we have tried it already, clean these columns outside of a big turnaround. So basically in the past, the cleaning of these assets was dominating the timeline of the turnaround. Now we can block the asset in, do the cleaning exercise for 2 days and get it back into operation. And that for me was really an additional thing we never thought of when we started this journey, but we got it.
Wow. And so that's going to change going forward how we plan turnarounds at the facility. I mean, it's not just these columns. This was an integral part of a turnaround, and now that's fundamentally changed then how you plan turnarounds.
Indeed.
Okay. Yeah. Great. So I got to imagine for something, you're talking about big columns and changing processes. There must have been a large team involved in this. Can you kind of describe who was involved and the roles that they played?
Yeah. First, we had an idea, of course, by one of our colleagues. And that idea was developed by a team of engineers, reliability engineers, specialists on glass lining, and we had to incorporate a contractor as well to develop a tool for us based on our vision and our design for that. And that team effort, together with the people that have to use it, because an engineer can build something or design something that is great on paper, but people have to use it in the plant. If it is, let's say, 45 kilograms, it will be unusable in a practical situation. So those types of things were taken in consideration as well. So the team was even broader, with people from production, people using the equipment, and all the people as mentioned before. And that together brought the idea together and made it to where we are today.
So my final question is, so what's what's next? Where do you see this application going, or what's next for your site, given the experience that you've had with coming up with this innovative solution to a big problem?
Yeah. Very good question, but there's a lot to come. We have 3 sites that make MDI, and the MDI plant is where we, in Rotterdam, basically make this technology work. So we want to roll it out in Geismar, in our facility in the US, in the months to come. And they adopted, they are prepared to go. And the next step will be China. Mm-hmm. So that is the similar cleaning technology for the similar asset. If we take a look further ahead, we are working now in Rotterdam at this moment with a similar technology for a different asset, shown successes initially. So there's more to come on different assets as well. And the underlying common denominator here is keep the fouling contained, the dishwasher model, do not expose people, clean smarter.
Right. Very fortunate is that we have a colleague at our site. He was part of this whole project as well. When we were asked to present this innovative idea here at the Woodland site, he got enthusiastic and built us a very nice model. But the fun thing is that model, it was in our Rotterdam site as well, already situated, and everybody started asking questions on what are you doing, what are we seeing here, and what is it, why did we build something like that? And it did work on incorporating everybody at our site to tell them about the innovative cleaning that we're doing, how it can help us and how it can improve us. And you see that much more people, especially in Rotterdam, as we are based there, are getting this all together and thinking with us, helping us, making sure we are able to do even more activities in the future. As it is quite difficult for everybody to change on something that you have been doing for the last 20, 25, and for our site, sometimes even 40 years or longer. Mm-hmm. So it's a fun thing that giving images and things you can see and touch give more visualization on what you're doing. So big thanks to him for helping us with that.
Right. Well, Timo, Kees, thank you very much for sharing your project with us, and looking forward to hearing how it plays out in Geismar and China. And it sounds like more innovation to come even in Rotterdam with the dishwasher concept. Thank you.
Thank you very much.